Hey, my friends, welcome back. My name is Joshua Latimer. Today, we're going to talk about fear, the big scary monster. I got a little secret for you. In most cases, the thing that paralyzes you, that causes total overwhelm, the thing that is preventing you, you think it's preventing you from achieving all of your wildest hopes and dreams, it's basically a toothless monster. Now, I know that it feels real. It's palpable. There's been more than once of my business career, I've driven myself to the hospital with chest pains because of the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm I've felt, because of the pressure, or at least what I thought was just the pressure and expectations of others. My friends, you're performing for an audience of one, and all of the expectations and the weight of the world that you feel, what if we could take it off your shoulders and set it to the side so you can move quicker and live your purpose? You got to understand that we need progress, not perfection. And one of the things that stops progress more than anything is this paralyzing, palpable fear. You know, you've probably heard the old anecdote that fear is false evidence appearing real. Well, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes fear is very, very real. You know, if you are alone in the wilderness and you're trying to hide from a saber-toothed tiger who wants to eat you, that fear is very justified. In fact, if you did not feel fear, I would argue there's something wrong with your brain, in your head, okay, in your thinker. You know, courage is different than delusion, right? Having courage means that you do what you know you're supposed to do while you feel the feels of the fear. Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? You know, deluded people don't have fear. I'm not telling you to not have fear. I'm trying to help you understand how to recognize and navigate through the fear. If you want to achieve something, whether it's build a family legacy or be a better leader to your children or build a business or make a bunch of money and build orphanages, whatever it is that you want to do, walking through circumstance while feeling the weight of fear is a requirement. There's no way to get around it. I think a lot of people are always praying for things to be easier when the right way to frame that prayer is, how do I get stronger? You know, if you have a sore neck, it means that you're a leader. You know, this is a metaphorical neck, of course. You know, it comes from the quote, heavy is the head that wears the crown, which is like a William Shakespeare thing or something. The point is this: I don't care if you have one employee, if you have one kid. By the way, if you have one kid, congratulations. That's a good starter pack. I have 5. You know, I'll give you some tips on that in a different video. But anyway, you have a sore neck because you're leading. You're doing scary things, right? You're responsible for other people. And the way to be successful is not to navigate the easy path, although that's what I tried to do in high school. Didn't work out very well with my 2.6 GPA. I'm sorry, Mrs. White. I apologize. Here's the thing, though. You don't have to be as scared as you think you do. You know, the saber-toothed tiger example, yeah, need to be scared. Is there a polar bear that wants to eat you for lunch? Yeah, be scared. But when it comes to business, the monster is toothless. The big scary monster is not that scary. Think about it like this. What's the worst that can happen? This is an incredibly useful, required question you need to ask yourself if you're struggling with anxiety and fear and overwhelm and panic right now. If you're scared of the economy, if you're scared of your bank account balance, if you know you've been putting things off and procrastinating, which is the side effect of being paralyzed by fear, right? The procrastination starts to stack on itself until you create a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't want that to happen, but check this out. Even if it did happen, guess what? You're okay. You're not going to die. Hey, I got some good news. In the modern world, they don't have debtors' prisons. You could file bankruptcy. Oh no, what if I file bankruptcy? Then everyone will think I'm a failure. Yeah, they will. But who cares? Why are we so scared of these things? You know, bankruptcy law is a gift. It's a gift. You know, 2,000 years ago, if you made some business moves and it didn't work out and you got into debt, you went to prison. And this is the ultimate catch-22 because you couldn't get out of prison until you paid the money back. But you couldn't pay the money back because you weren't out of prison. How does that work? That's not a good situation, right? Here's the deal. I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. I'm certainly not telling you to go file bankruptcy. What I'm saying is the thing you're so scared of that's causing you to inch closer to the edge of the cliff towards failure, that thing you're so scared of isn't even that scary. Worst case scenario, you file a BK. You have bad credit for 2 years. You relaunch your company. You lick your wounds and you start over a leveled up person. You know, one of my business mentors has a mentor himself. And the mentor that my mentor has will only work with entrepreneurs who have cycled. Now think about this. This is so epic. Cycling is when you make a fortune, lose it all, and then do it again. You know, most of us are just trying to make our first one, right? And the goal certainly isn't to lose it. But I'll tell you something. When you step forward in faith while feeling the fear and things don't work out, right? And things go sideways and you waste some money on accident and your bank account gets overdrawn or whatever happens, or you're using credit cards to meet payroll and you're having a panic attack. When you're doing these things, you are leveling up your neck. You're getting a stronger neck. You're learning as you go. You learn by iterating, and that's really valuable. And even if it all falls apart, there's value in that too, because you're going to have a new perspective, a new level of humility, a new level of wisdom and understanding that most people don't have. You want to know why? Because they can't get through the initial fear of starting in the first place. Is that you? Are you willing to potentially stub your toe and scrape your knee so that you could change your family tree? Ooh, that rhymed. That was very interesting. Are you willing to do that? If you are, really good things are waiting for you. And they might not be here next week. They might not be here in 30 days, but they are real and they are coming for you. But you got to use courage, doing what you know is right, even when you feel afraid. There's this great book. There's this sentence in this book. It says, fear not. Actually, it's the Bible. It's a bestseller. You should go grab it. Listen, fear is not your friend most of the time. And if you're in a burning building trying to escape, it's a very helpful thing to have, right? Fear can be useful, but when it comes to small business, it's the thing holding you back, and you got to stop overthinking this stuff. Move faster because money loves speed. Another interesting fact about fear is that a lot of people use fear as an excuse. I lived in Costa Rica for a couple years, and one thing that was really interesting about the culture there was how adverse, generally speaking, most of the population is to the idea of even starting a business. The lady that taught me Spanish, Giselle, I call her my Costa Rican mom because I love this woman. She's incredible. Hi, Giselle, if you ever see this, you're amazing. I remember having a conversation with her about maybe opening a little party store, or like whatever they call it in Costa Rica, like a corner store. I said, why don't you start a business? And she actually has a business, but she was explaining to me how paralyzed people feel at even the suggestion of starting a business, right? Because the culture is so different. Well, what if it fails? What if this? Everyone will laugh at me. I'm going to lose everything, right? And so they're so risk averse that they give themselves no upside. And that's really bad. You know, in the United States, that's not the case all the time, but there's still people living with remnants of that type of thinking, and it's holding you back. Are you using fear as a justification to not go faster? It's just an excuse. It's a crutch, because you know why you're allowed to use it as an excuse is because society will accept that excuse. Society says, you're right. It's too risky. Don't do that. Just get a job. Just get a job. Oh gosh, why would you do that? Oh, don't put your family through it. Why don't you get a real job? Are you going to get a real job? That's other people's fear trying to mess up your life. Don't use that as an excuse, right? It's not a valid excuse to the people that know. And I know that you know. So now you're not allowed to do that anymore. Another thing people don't think about is that fear itself is actually an opportunity because of groupthink. You know, if you're feeling fear economically because of the recession, the coming storm, and interest rates, and I read an article that U.S. homeowners have already lost $1.5 trillion in home equity, and the recession didn't even start yet, okay? It's coming. It's coming. These are economic realities. I'm a hopium dealer. I'm an optimist, but these are numbers and data. It's true. But what happens is society as a whole generally starts to get more and more fearful. What does that mean for you? It means there's opportunity. There's opportunity to buy discounted assets. There's opportunity to acquire companies. There's people that are going to get so paralyzed the moment their phone stops ringing, they're going to sell you their entire business for pennies on the dollar. And that is an incredible opportunity for you if you can see it, if you can be level-headed while you feel the feels, but still make the moves you need to make. If you can network and connect and reach out and capitalize on these opportunities, it could make you a fortune. And then last but not least, I want you to think about this. Have you ever thought that success itself is actually more scary than failure? You know, failure isn't uncommon. Failure's common. Mediocrity is common. It's common. People aren't going to beat you up that bad for being average, right? In a sea of 5'10" people, you only have to be 5'11" to stand out. And a lot of people try to pull you down and slam you on the ground, right? Because you pushing yourself up makes them feel like they're down. And that's not your intent, but that's how they feel. That's their own internal conflict. You know, the thing is being successful carries great responsibility. People look up to you. They set expectations on you. And although you are not responsible for the way that all these other people feel, it is a burden to carry. A lot of people don't understand that being successful is a weight. And so if you're not doing things to push through your fear right now, you won't be able to handle the weight of being successful, even if it happened, right? I heard someone say on a podcast this morning that any fool can make a fortune, but it takes a brain to keep one. And in the same train of thought, you know, any fool can have a little bit of success, but you'll collapse underneath the pressure of what's required to manage and steward that success. If you haven't done hard things and walked and faced the big scary monster, whatever that is to you, so you can realize it's toothless. If you haven't done this repeatedly on a small level, a mid-level, and then eventually a big level, if you haven't done that, you won't be able to keep the success that you make anyways. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that adds value to you. I hope that your family changes the world. I hope that you lead them towards that outcome. We'll see you in the next video. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you watched, click the video on the left to watch the previous upload. And if you want one of my personal favorites, click the video on the right. And of course, don't forget to hit the middle to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thank you again for being on this journey with me.